Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of It's Bigger Than Business podcast. I'm joined with Jane Palmer, who works at Denison University. Jane, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just sitting here on the hill in Granville, looking at the snow and enjoying that it's another day to be here doing what I like.
Yes, love it. And if anyone has never been to Denison University's campus, it's absolutely beautiful. Highly recommended. Um, I had the opportunity actually, so I got connected with Jane a few years ago. I feel like it was before COVID. Yeah, and you invited me to kind of speak out to some of the students at the entrepreneurship program. So thank you a lot. Um, and I had the opportunity in my agency to work with some students in internship capacities, which has been really, really, really awesome. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing? Because I know you have, I think, changed titles recently as well with Denison. So yeah,
Yeah.
catch us up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came to Denison in fall of 2016 to help launch one of the new academic programs, Global Commerce, which is an academic major interdisciplinary approach to embracing the liberal arts education, but providing an opportunity for students who really want to go into business, whether it's working for a large Fortune 500 company or start their own, business or organization, or work for a nonprofit organization. And my role has evolved. It's really been like a startup experience, right? Like we decided what global commerce was going to be at an undergraduate institution, and my faculty partner Karen Spearling and I have built this program from the ground up with our colleagues. And my role is to cultivate a network of support for global commerce majors, so opportunities for them to connect with individuals such as yourself, Manny, and hear from successful entrepreneurs and business and nonprofit leaders about the trials and tribulations and how they've gotten to where they are, and to build some of those technical skills that are so important to being successful in today's global economy. And so now I started as program manager, now associate director for global commerce, and just really loving that I get to engage with such an amazing group of individuals, starting home base in Columbus, but certainly expanding beyond Columbus, beyond Ohio, and beyond the US.
Yeah, and I could attest to that. I mean, the two interns that I've had, one was based from Boston, and the other one from Detroit. So I could definitely attest to that. And I guess just to remind some people too, like, you should name drop some famous grads that Denison.
All right. Yeah. So yes, we are proud to have included in our alumni ranks Michael Eisner, Jennifer Garner, Steve Carell, and many others as well.
And I remember when I found that out, I was like, wow, you never would think that from such a small school. So it's just a testament. So I mean, like, talk about that. Like, what was that like, kind of building a program from the ground up at the school, and then also just obviously talk a little bit about the impact that you've seen so far.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you again for giving me the opportunity to kind of share our story beyond the kind of confines of who I've already connected with. And so, what it's been like, it has truly been an act of sheer passion and dedication, and moments of complete humility, and having to really understand what it is I don't understand, right? So I came in kind of in the eyes of the faculty partners as the expert in business and the expert in global. I've worked for one for-profit organization for 2 years in my entire professional career, right? I have certainly had a global experience, growing up and certainly come by that part very naturally, but it was very intimidating to come in and kind of be the expert in business, because I had worked in the College of Business at a large state institution just down the road for a number of years before I came to Denison. And so really recognizing kind of getting over the imposter syndrome initially of like, okay, what they brought me here to do was to cultivate that network of support and build relationships. And that is something that I can do really well, I think. And that is something that I can leverage my experiences and my kind of global network to be able to help build this global commerce program. And so it has not been without moments of real frustration at like, what are we doing? There are so many people that really want us to be successful and have very many ideas about the ways in which global commerce could develop as a program. And so again, my faculty partner, Karen Spearling, who's a historian by training, she and I worked really hard to make sure that we, as kind of the leaders and the architects of this program for students, that we saw each other as equals, right? And that we developed a really mutually beneficial, but really just rooted in trust. We truly had to recognize that we trusted each other as partners in order to be so successful in designing this program. And part of that was divvying out like what is her area of expertise and where her her efforts and energies focusing on the curricular structure and working with the faculty and retaining, attracting and retaining top-notch faculty to teach in our program, and my experience and expertise to focus on the external kind of stakeholders and really developing those relationships and providing opportunities for our students to become the future leaders of the global economy, right? That's what we're hoping, and that we're confident that we'll be able to do. So, we joke about our famous alumni that are already out there in the world. Like, I'm super confident that the students I'm working with today are going to have major impact on the world moving forward.
No, I love it. You said a few things that I think are so important, right? Like just the humility, right? Just because, what I've seen in business, yes, we have an idea that we want to get out there, but typically it's not going to end up exactly how we think it will be. So just being, flexible, being able to listen to the people that you want to help and changing that, right, to help them. So, I think that's so important. Especially in education, right? Like, I see a lot happening in the education field to really just connect students with opportunities quicker and again show them entrepreneurship. So I think it's an extremely relevant program right now. Just jobs and hands-on, and I know that we have a few Steve Carell's and Jennifer Garner's getting ready to come out there. So you're based in Granville, right? Are you?
I am. Yeah. So I'm based in Granville, but pre-COVID, I really was starting to move beyond certainly Granville, right? You and I met I think just before COVID almost, or maybe the year before. I can't remember now. But
I came there in November. And
yeah. So, getting more, getting away from campus when you work for a small fully residential liberal arts institution, you spend a lot of time on campus with your students because that is a big, huge piece of the mission and the the reason why students and their families are choosing a Denison is for that real like connection in the physical space of campus. But recognized that it was really important for me to spend dedicated time off of campus and in Columbus with the local business community, but beyond that, right? So I have had extensive experience traveling internationally with students and without students, and so was beginning to do some international travel on behalf of Global Commerce in Denison to cultivate opportunities for students to go on reciprocal exchange to institutions around the world. November of 2019, I went to Singapore, went on my own, and that was a really kind of my first completely on my own professional international travel experience. But because the Denison network of alumni and parents and friends of Denison like yourself is so robust and so willing to help and support, I was able to, go have dinner with parents of a current student at Denison who really showed me around Singapore. I was able to meet with some alumni who were living, and had investment firms in Singapore. So, I get to get beyond campus, which is great. COVID, challenged that obviously, but also forced our hand in making the connections more accessible for our students. So, at one time we never would have considered sort of Zooming somebody in. We didn't even know what that was, right? But like using Skype and having a conversation in the classroom with somebody in England. But now that's completely natural and makes so much sense for, the future of work and certainly the future of global business. The days of constantly hopping on a plane to go and have that business conversation, I think, are probably over, right? So.
No, and Singapore is literally on my bucket list.
Gotta go.
There is a founder we highlighted in the past, Loki, who's a founder of Patron Art, and he did grad school at Ohio State, but recently just relocated back to Singapore. I was meant to go up there with him, but COVID, someone said in a different podcast that, COVID made the world a smaller place because we were all going through the same thing. And, I think that I could hear that with what you're just saying. So what about, I think, we hear, you're at a liberal arts school, so I just have to ask, because we hear this term and it's, we hear it all the time. So NFTs, right? I'm just so curious, has, Denison began to kind of incorporate some of the new technology into their program? I'm very interested in that.
Yes, and thank you for asking that. Absolutely, right? So again, kind of the birth of Global Commerce and our data analytics program, which launched at the same time as Global Commerce, and now Global Health program. These new academic majors were brought kind of forward as a way to bring the best of the liberal arts experience and education to the forefront and make it obviously relevant to today, right? And so just the idea of those initially was our first step towards kind of embracing new technology, if that makes any sense. But what has now, again, kind of through COVID, but beyond that, under President Adam Whiteberg's leadership and kind of vision, Denison has fully embraced the idea that, we are not going to change who we are as a liberal arts institution in terms of what we believe to be the best way to educate and prepare yourself to engage in society as as a citizen, and think critically about problems and work collaboratively to solve them. But we recognize that we need to be explicit that what we are doing in an institution like Denison is preparing students for the workforce that they're going to be entering into, and we're incorporating technology into that. So we have utilized, not just Zoom to help our students be prepared, but our partners now in Denison Edge, which is one of our newest entities at Denison, my colleagues are utilizing they've partnered with ed tech companies to provide additional skill building opportunities for not just our own students, but for other liberal arts students in Ohio, and workforce development opportunities for professionals that are already working in the Columbus region, right? So now a Denison student can go downtown to the Arena District in Columbus and be in a Denison owned and operated space where they maybe are learning Tableau or R because they have an interest, or they recognize that would be important for them as they move off into an analyst role, and they're sitting in that space with a working professional who has been sent there by their organization or has recognized that they want to build that skill themselves. So absolutely, yes, I think that's my long answer to have we embraced technology as a way to help our students prepare for their future lives, 100%.
And I love it. And I got connected to Eric Lloyd, who runs Edge.
Yes, yep.
I've been following what they're doing, and I just think it's, and I actually, the recent post is a post about cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So, as some of you may know, I'm based here in Miami right now, and the mayor pays himself in Bitcoin. So they're very leading the way, and I've been having a lot of conversations. But also for anyone listening to, I was at a conference, Mark Cuban was on stage, the North American Bitcoin Conference, and he said, a new internet's getting created, and we're pretty much in 1997. So we have about 4 more years before, the 2000 internet crash, per se, for crypto, or you could say the great consolidation or whatnot, right? But right now, I just think it's more about understanding the utility and understanding the technology. I think just that in itself, that education, I think, is just the most important thing. So what do you do when you're not spending your time leading this program and driving the future? What are some of your hobbies on the side?
Thank you. So I am the mother of 2 young children. So they spend they take up a lot of space in both my head and my heart. I'm very lucky that I have a wonderful partner in life who is a dedicated father, and we really have managed this kind of dual career, both working parents life really quite well, I think. But so children obviously take up my time, but I'm a huge fan of, and this is not a commercial for them, but I'm a huge fan of Orange Theory Fitness. So I drive, I get up at 4:10 a.m. 3 weekday mornings a week, and I drive to the New Albany Orange Theory Fitness location, and that's my me time, right? Like the 20 minutes in the car to get there, and the hour of workout with the 5 a.m. crew, and then the 20 minutes back, and I can be back in my house usually before anybody else. Sometimes my son is already awake, but before anybody else is awake, and I've had that time in. So that's really important. I enjoy like the 5K.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One, I like that kind of, I don't like to go out and jog on my own, but if it's an organized event and there's like the excitement, the atmosphere around a group of people coming together to do kind of the same type of activity, I certainly enjoy that. I was an athlete all kind of growing up and through high school. So I enjoy watching sports. I do miss being a part of like a adult softball team. So hopefully one day we'll start that back up again. I ride a bike. I ride every couple years. I'll ride for Pelotonia and participate in that, which is for those listeners who don't know, is a grassroots experience event. They're a nonprofit organization based here in Columbus, and one weekend every August, thousands and thousands of people come together to either ride a bicycle or participate as volunteers or supporters of this event and raise money for cancer research. And so that is an important part of my August every year.
Yeah, no, I love that. The Pelotonia is on my list. And I love just for me too as well, you know, that workout time, being able just sweating every day, getting that out. I think that really, you know, and it seems like it kind of makes the rest of the day easier in a way for me. You know, when I knock that out in the morning, it's like I'm ready to take on the world.
Yeah, you know, you've like got that. Yeah, you feel good because you've done something. Like there's something about like the movement and challenging yourself. And it is. I won't do it if I've already sat at my desk. I am not an evening or afternoon workout person. So morning is.
Yeah. Same here. And how old are your children, by the way?
So our son Ryder is, he's 9, he'll be 10 in the spring. He's in 4th grade here in Granville. And then our daughter London is 7 and she is in 1st grade, also in Granville schools.
Awesome.
So, and they are a treat. They could not be more opposite as individuals. They both absolutely have very clear personality features that you can identify as, oh, that came from me, and oh, that came from John, my husband. It's really, really quite fun. You know, and being a mother, absolutely, like I draw on the challenges, the humility, all those things that you have to learn when you are a parent. I draw on that in my kind of professional life as well. So
yes. Well, I love it, and I think that this is a perfect way to kind of wrap things up. I will also want to give a shout out to Danny Ortiz as well. He's the co-host with It's Bigger Than Business, but he said hello. He's traveling around, but he'll be listening to this episode, and he kind of deals with the uploading part. So, Jane, I appreciate you and thank you for all the work that you're doing. You know, students, they are blessed to have you in their life. So I'll just let you know that, and we appreciate you supporting, collaborating, elevate, and just excited to however we can help and the community can add value. Just let us know anytime.
Absolutely, and the feeling is so mutual, Manny. I just, you know, it's from the time that we first met, every conversation we've ever had has been just so genuine, and there is something about the wanting to help, whether it's wanting to help the business grow larger or the individual, you know, achieve their dream or their goal, the connection, the relationship, and the genuineness to it, I think is so vital. And so I think that we're fortunate that we are both in the spaces where we can do that. So thank you so much. We absolutely will feature Manny Larcher and collaborate and elevate on a future Global Commerce Executive Speaker Series for sure. We'll get you involved more at the edge. And I look forward to listening to more of your episodes of this podcast.
Awesome. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Jane. And thank you everyone for tuning in to It's Bigger Than Business. Have a great day.